One.
Hello, beautiful humans! We are doing something very exciting today. I am here with one of my very closest, very dear, very oldest friends, whose name is Adri. Here she is. Uh, now, Adri had the bright idea. We were talking recently. I was like, I have a lot of books to haul. And here's the problem, is that I don't always love watching book hauls. I mean, booktube videos are not known for being like the most like super hyper engaging, but sometimes I just get a little bored when watching people just like pick up like 50 different books and give like a brief synopsis about them. So Adrian was like, why don't we just do a video where she was like, has anyone ever had the idea of doing a book haul while playing World of Warcraft? And I was like, I don't think anyone's ever had that idea, but I really like it. So yeah, basically I'm just gonna be here. I have a quick little unboxing at the start, which is very exciting. Just got some book mail today. But I'm just gonna be talking about books, going through, and we're just gonna hang out while Adri goes on some quests in World of Warcraft. Adri is an extremely experienced World of Warcraft player. Um, so I'll hand it over to you for a sec to talk about what the heck you're doing.
Okay, well, at the moment, I'm just going to get an enchantment at the auction house because I need to fix my moonkin form. But then I will be heading over to, because I know Annie hates the Hillsborough Foothills quest line, I will be heading over to Stonetown Mountain instead.
I hate that quest line so much. There are egg sacs. Is that the one with the egg sacs on the bears?
Yep.
Yes, I very much do not like that quest line. So yeah, I have played World of Warcraft a decent amount, but just with Adri, and Adri is really the expert. So, between little books and things here and there, I'll have you give us an update about what's going on. Do you want to give just like a brief description of what World of Warcraft is for people who may not know?
So World of Warcraft is a MMO RPG, which means it's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Basically, the main part of it is going through, and doing, quests to level up your character, and of course there's endgame content such as gathering mounts to collect, or doing dungeons and raids, and just getting better armor. PvP is a part of it as well. It's a rather extensive game, not that easy to describe. But at the heart of it, it's really about just leveling your character and having fun in whichever way best fits you. You could do all your leveling through PvP once you're a high enough level to participate in it, or do all your leveling through dungeons and then later on throw in raids, or you could ignore all three of those things and just do questing the whole time. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, that's what makes it so widely have such a wide appeal to so many different types of people. So do you want to introduce the character that you're playing with and kind of what you're doing?
Sure. So this is a druid I just made. I already have two other ones, but I'm trying to, since druids have this ability called travel form that allows them to, at a high enough level, have a flight form that they can switch into instantaneously instead of having to do the load up for a mount, which you can see through that versus just doing that, which is instant. It's a really good class to use for farming the gathering professions in the game. But you can only have two gathering professions, or two professions in general, per character, at least main professions. there's 3 gathering professions, so I'm making another horde druid. Since my other one's alliance and therefore it doesn't work in the context I'm trying to, so that I can have skinning for a gathering profession.
Okay, cool. So, I think we'll just do like little check-ins here and there to see how you're doing. If something exciting happens, feel free to interrupt me. But I am going to unbox this box that came in the mail. Now I know what's in here. I just ordered this yesterday. It came from Amazon. Excuse me. Don't mind the noise. So, recently, and you'll see, I've been trying to collect Rick Riordan books because I really love them, and they're such good palate cleansers for me. I like reading them between heavier books because they're just so easy to just binge read and get really deep into. So, I decided I would order the complete Kane Chronicles. So, let's see, we have the first one, which is the Red Pyramid. Let's see, tilt that toward the light. The Red Pyramid. And then we have the Throne of Fire. And then we have the Serpent's Shadow. I can't remember if I actually read the entire series when I was younger, but I read a lot of them. I think I might have finished it. But either way, I remember really, really loving this series. And it's one of Rick Riordan's is like separate from the Percy Jackson, which is sometimes a bit refreshing because there's a lot going on in the Percy Jackson series, and sometimes you just need to like dip into something else. So I got the Kane Chronicles, so I'll add those to my collection. And then before I talk about the other Rick Riordan books I've acquired the past month, I also got in this mail. I got Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which is a contemporary romance, which a lot of people are reading and loving right now. It's by Talia Hibbert. Basically, Chloe Brown is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. She is trying to get a life and do more and live life more fully. And then she enlists Redford as her teacher, and I think they end up falling in love, and everyone really loves this book. Everyone really loves Redford. There's a sequel called Take a Hint, Danny Brown, which I believe follows Chloe Brown's sister, and this is one that I've been very excited to read recently. I think I should definitely preface why I have so many books in the haul, because this is not a normal month for me. I don't usually get 40-ish books in one month. This is a very extreme example of my book buying habits. Basically, July was my birthday month, so I received books as presents. I received gift cards, which I spent on books, and I just was, once you're then in the mode of buying things, you just want to buy more things. And I also got my tax returns in July, so basically I had some income and a mix of extra income and extra presents, and ended up spending a lot of everything on books, which make me happy. So that's all I'm gonna say. But this is not a normal month for me, so don't expect a 40+ book haul from me every month, because that's not what's happening. But I do think while we're on the Rick Riordan train, I just want to say I also bought for myself the Percy Jackson series, which, again, I had fully read when I was much younger and hadn't read in quite a long time. And I was also already rereading this year. I had read the first 3 from the library earlier this year, and I just finished it out with the last 2. So that's The Lightning Thief, The Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. And Adri also really loves the Percy Jackson series. And finally, to round out my Rick Riordan haul, I managed to acquire the Heroes of Olympus series. Of course, I bought these all in paperback because I wasn't going to spend that much money. and these have like a newish paperback spine cover design situation. You can't see it all that well because I'm filming on a webcam, but you know, Google it. Where are we flying?
At the moment, we are flying to Silverwind Refuge in Ashenvale to get on a wagon that will take us to Stonetown Mountains.
Cool. So are we doing a quest line?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. While let me just round off the previously read series that I acquired. Alec and I did a couple of good thrift store runs this month, and in one of them, I managed to acquire all 3 books. Well, I guess there's 4 now, technically, but the 3 original books in the Hunger Games trilogy, which I, again, read when I was younger and really liked. These were coming out right when I was in middle school, and so I was like the perfect age for these, and yeah, I eventually am going to want to reread these, and I just wanted to have them as part of my collection as a token of a series that I loved when I was younger. And along those same lines, from the thrift store, I was able to acquire some fairly pristine-looking copies of the Divergent series, which I know people have a lot of opinions on now. The movies were not good. But I originally, when I was reading this was like in like 7th or 8th grade, I was reading them, and it was like the first time in so long that I had read something that I was not able to put down. Like, I was so into it. Like, I would read it when I first woke up, and I was like that when I was younger, but then I kind of stopped reading more as I was, you know, getting into being a teenager, and so it just brings back memories of just wanting to binge read books. And I don't think I ever either finished or read Allegiant, the last one, and I know I never read 4, because by that point the movies had started coming out, and I just think that in both of these cases, the Hunger Games movies were quite good, but in the case of the Divergent movies, they just kind of killed the book series. Like, I don't know if you see it that way, Adri, but I just feel like, or if you were ever into these, I don't remember, but the movies were so bad, it just made people not want to read the books, and like start critiquing the story as a whole instead of just seeing it as bad movies.
I don't think I ever read that one.
Yeah. Divergent is like, there's different, I don't even remember. There's you get tested and you get put into different factions. Oh, it's factions. Right. And then there's like, if you belong to more than one faction, then you're divergent, and it's really dangerous to be divergent for some reason, because it's a super totalitarian regime or whatever. I don't really know. I don't really remember. Eventually, I'm going to reread these, and again, I just liked having them as a token of a series that made me really happy when I read them when I was younger. Oh my gosh. Now I have to figure out where I'm putting all these books. Oh no. Oh dear. Are we questing? Are we here? Did we get to the quest line?
Yes, this is the start of the quest line.
Okay. So we're just working on leveling this druid?
Yep, I'm just leveling this druid. I might switch to farming at some point, if I get too bored, but because sometimes there will be parts in quests that I absolutely cannot stand for the life of me. But right now we're just leveling and picking up these landmines so that night elves can step on them and explode.
Oh, lovely. Okay, I think while we're in fantasy, I'll go ahead and talk about the 3 other fantasy books that I acquired recently. Well, there's a couple more than 3, but I don't know. I have a weird way of categorizing, so I'm just going to talk about these 3. Alec and I, this is from a different thrift store run. I was able to acquire 5 more books, so 3 of them were fantasy. I got Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I was very pressed for time when we were in the thrift store, because we got there with like 30 minutes before it closed, which I absolutely hate. But I made Alec go in because I was like, This is my favorite thrift store. It's in a vlog, hopefully, which will be up around the same time as this video goes out, where it's our book quest. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Half price books, thrift store, book selling adventure, whatever. You will have seen me like haul these, but I got Caraval, and like I said, I was like very pressed for time, and I just knew this title, so I'm actually going to go ahead and read the full synopsis because I have no idea what this book is about. I had just seen it, and it was buy 4 get a book free, and I was looking for my 5th book, and I just spotted this one, and I was like, okay, that looks like something I would read. I recognize. So here's what the synopsis says. A legendary competition, a mesmerizing romance, an unbreakable bond between 2 sisters. Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamed-up invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only, as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told everything that happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes enmeshed in the game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. Welcome, welcome to Caraval. Beware of getting swept too far away. I mean, that sounds really good. Like I said, I hadn't really figured out what it was before, but now that I read the synopsis, I'm much more excited to read this book. It sounds really cool. There's Caraval, or Caraval. I can't decide which way I'm pronouncing that word. Another fantasy that I got from that first start, that same Value Village up in the rich part of Washington, in Sammamish, Issaquah area. I found the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. Once again, I have no idea what this book is about, but I know N.K. Jemisin is a very prolific fantasy author, and everyone has been really enjoying her books recently. She just put out a new one, which this is not. I know it's a high fantasy adult book, but I'm not quite sure what it's about. The back just says, "This is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the great red rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and a long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and there is no mercy." That sounds pretty good. And it's a bit of a chunky book. It's, I believe, over 500 pages. But, you know, once you've read Harry Potter, Adrian and I recently reread the 5th I reread it. Adrian read for the first time the 5th Harry Potter, and we were both like, this is long.
Yeah.
I mean, that book is like 860 pages or something, which is just, it's a bit extreme. I don't feel like it really had to be that long, but I really enjoyed it.
It was torturous.
Yeah, we just read a chapter a day, which in hindsight is maybe not the best way to read Harry Potter, just because it kind of it dragged on. It took us over a month reading it that way, but we did get it done, and you never have to read that again. So
thankfully.
Yeah, that was quite torturous. Let's see. The next book I got, which is another fantasy, which I'm just flipping through, and oh my god, the font is so small.
Oh no.
Why? I struggle. But again, this book is I should probably say what it is. It's Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I've heard lots of people talking about this book. I know it revolves around assassins, but let me go ahead and read what's on the back. In a world where the suns almost never set, a woman gains entry into a school of infamous assassins, seeking vengeance against the powers that destroyed her family. daughter of an executed traitor, Corvair, Mia Corvair is barely able to escape her father's failed rebellion with her life. Alone and friendless, she wanders a city built from the bones of a dead god, hunted by the Senate and its thugs. But her gift for speaking with the shadows leads her to the hearth of a retired killer and a future she never imagined. Now, Mia is apprenticed to the deadliest flock of assassins in the entire Republic, the Red Church. Deadly trials await her within the church's halls. Blades and poisons, treachery and death. If she survives initiation, she'll be inducted among the chosen of the Lady of Blessed Murder, and be one step closer to the only thing she desires, revenge. So Jay Kristoff co-wrote one of my favorite books, which is called Illuminae, which I read last month, and I am excited to read some more of his work. I know people are huge Jay Kristoff fans, and I'm not typically like a massive high fantasy reader, but once in a while I can get into it. This also sounds like something I could pass off on Alec that he would also like. So hopefully this book will get some good reading. And it was in such a nice condition. In comparison to Caraval, I don't know how well you can see, but Caraval looks like it's had better days.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite water damaged and like flattened and creased, and it's still totally readable, but it's just not a very beautiful book. And Nevernight is quite crisp, which is quite nice. Yeah, so those are the high fantasies that I've acquired recently. The other, and those are all, I believe, well, Caraval is YA fantasy, but the other two are more adult. So the other categories that I'm going to go through, I have a bunch of adult literary fiction or just like contemporary fiction. I have a bunch of YA books, and then a bunch of mystery thriller books, which I am excited to talk about. So I'm going to take a quick drink break, but do you want to... Oh, I've been to this area before, haven't I?
Yeah, you have with our warlocks. We were here.
Oh, right. I remember that I hated that hill.
You did.
Because it was such a pain. You have to climb this giant hill to get to turn in your quest. Okay, so I think I'm going to talk about my literary fiction now, just to kind of get that more out of the way, because it's not quite as exciting to talk about as some of the other stuff. Also at the thrift store recently, I found They're There by Tommy Orange, which is a story about a bunch of different, a relentlessly paced, multi-generational story about violence and recovery, memory and identity, and beauty and despair woven into the history of a nation and its people. It tells the story of 12 characters, each of whom has a private reasons for traveling to the big Oakland powwow. So it's a story of a bunch of different Native Americans traveling to a central powwow. And I heard Ariel Bassett, who is a booktuber, she hauled this recently. And so I saw it at the thrift store and I was like, hey, I recognize that book. And I think it'll be really interesting, and I think I'll get a lot out of it. Another literary fiction that I found at the same time, the same thrift store run, was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This has been hugely popular over the past couple years. I'm not sure exactly when this came out, but again, I found it for like $2.50 at the thrift store. And so it's about this girl who like lives in the marsh in North Carolina, and there's all these rumors about her, and that she's like dangerous and you don't want to be around her, but turns out she's not who they say she is, and this guy falls in love with her, and I think it's supposed to be like kind of a love letter to nature as well as just like mysterious. I think there's a mystery in it and maybe a little bit of a love story, and again, just a lot of people have said this is really good, and so I'm excited to read that. Let's see, again from the thrift store, I was able to acquire When Life Gives You Lululemons. This is a bit questionable. I think it's going to be more just like read it in the hammock, feel good, contemporary. It's a Devil Wears Prada novel. Devil Wears Prada is like one of the best movies with Meryl Streep in it. And so this is, I think, the sequel to that. I never actually read that book, but I have seen the movie. So I believe it's about the main character, Emily Charlton, leaving New York, or leaving Connecticut, stopping working for the woman that she works for in A Devil Wears Prada, and then she moves to Hollywood and gets a bunch of like interesting new clients, and it's about like kind of their stories and what goes on with them. And it just sounded kind of light and fun and interesting, and read it on a sunny day by the lake. I've been seeing this everywhere, and so I just saw it and decided to pick it up. Let's see, let's move on to Queenie. This I got at my local bookstore. Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. Basically, here, I'll just read it. The back is super short. Meet Queenie, journalist, catastrophist, lonely, loved, relatable. Her boyfriend asks her to leave their apartment. Her boss doesn't seem to see her. Her Jamaican British family doesn't seem to hear her. Her best friends try but fail to help her. Queenie is a spiral. As she careens from one questionable decision to another, she finds herself wondering, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who do you want to be? All of the quandaries today's women must face in a world trying to answer them for her. This is just kind of like exactly what it says. Like, what am I doing with my life? A woman trying to figure herself out. Again, a lot of people have been reading this recently and really loving it and getting a lot out of it. So I decided to pick it up as well. Kind of in a similar vein, I decided to pick up Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo, which won the Booker Prize. I've seen, Emma from Drinking by My Shelf highly acclaimed this book and said that despite the fact that it is a Booker Prize and it's more literary, it is actually not a hard read. I believe this is a collection of stories, mostly about women, mostly about Black women, and people are just getting so much out of it, learning so much, being so moved by all the different stories. So I kind of want to go in slightly more blind into this story, into these stories, because I think I'll get the most out of them that way. So there's that. Let's see, I have two more adult literary fiction-y guys. Actually, one is a memoir, so I'll talk about that one next. This is one that I got in my July Book of the Month box, which is called The Beauty in Breaking by Michelle Harper. This is a memoir about an African-American emergency room physician, Michelle Harper. In this poignant and moving memoir, an emergency room physician explores how a life of service to others taught her how to heal herself. I wasn't super excited by any of July's Book of the Month picks, so I decided to pick this one out because it actually seemed quite interesting. And I think she gets into, she tells stories about her ER experiences, which is pretty cool. I do enjoy the odd medical drama. I mean, Grey's Anatomy is a lot, but my family and I just finished watching all of Royal Pains, which is a medical drama, and that was quite fun. It was actually a little sad when we finished the whole series. I quite highly recommend that. I think it's on. Oh, I remember what happened. They took it off of Netflix. Real Pains is about a doctor. This is totally off topic, but it's about a doctor who moves to the Hamptons and becomes an ER doctor who gets burnt out in the ER in New York and decides to move. His brother and him move to the Hamptons, and he becomes a concierge doctor. And you can just call him up, and the super rich. And then he also works for free and for poorer people, but. It was quite amusing because we were 5 episodes away from the end, and then they took it off of Netflix, and we were so upset. And we actually we never do this, but we had to buy them off of Amazon. So there's actually nowhere to watch Royal Pains without no subscription service that is on, which is quite sad, but it's a bit outdated. But it was quite good. Anyways, what I'm saying is that I think I'll enjoy both the emergency room story aspects of this book, as well as the observations about life and humanity aspects about this book. Okay. I told you this was going to be an extensive book haul. We're halfway done. Well, maybe we are, technically. But the series went quite fast because I wasn't trying to give information about them. Why don't we take a break to... and Andrew can tell us about what she's doing.
Well, at the moment, I am collecting various mechanisms for the Kromgar army. This is a bit of spoiler, but the Kromgar army sucks, and they're doing a very terrible thing. But I'm still doing this quest line, so for now, despite the fact that I know they're doing something horrible, I have to collect this stuff for them. And I'm trying to do so without dying, because this is an extremely rickety ramp. And I am testing out a different specialization than I'm used to playing for the druid. I usually play feral, but it kind of takes forever to kill things because blizzards completely seem to screw the feral specialization over. So I'm trying balances set, despite the fact I usually don't like spellcasters.
Yeah, spellcasters are. We both kind of tend to prefer the melee specializations.
Yeah.
Wow. Someone just drove up my street really fast. All right, I'm going to talk about my last literary fiction before we get into slightly more interesting mysteries and like YA books. My last literary fiction is, of course, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, which everyone and their mother has been reading recently. This is the story of two twins, or I guess you don't have to quantify that there are two twins, of twins who are inseparable as children and ultimately choose to live in two very different worlds, one black and one white. So they're the twins, and let's say their lives are very different. There's like multiple generation strands being weaved together. They both have daughters, and it's gonna be, I'm fairly sure, just a really interesting and informative and powerful story that gets into race in America and what it really means to be colorist, or different shades of white and black and brown. And like I said, everyone has been reading this recently, and everyone has been loving this recently and getting a lot out of it. So I am hopefully going to read this in the next few weeks. Oh my gosh. Okay. Woo! That's done. We're done with literary fiction. Let's see. Should I move into mystery or should I move into YAs?
Well, first of all, what are YAs?
YA is young adult.
Oh.
And so under the young adult, I have a couple that are more contemporary. I have one that's about superheroes. I have, actually, I'm not sure if this one is YA, so I'll talk about it next. Which is The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith. I'm pretty sure this isn't YA. Let's see. Books that aren't finished by their authors reside inside the Library of the Unwritten in hell. But when restless characters who emerge from those unfinished stories escape, it is up to the librarian to track them down and keep the collection complete. This was recommended by one of my favorite booktubers, whose name is Riley Marie. This, along with The House in the Cerulean Sea, were two of her favorites of the year so far, and The House in the Cerulean Sea is my favorite of the year so far, so I feel the need to read this one as well. And she says it shares some similar characteristics with it. This was gifted to me by my aunt and uncle, and I'm very excited to get into it. I guess I will talk about the other books gifted to me by that same aunt and uncle for my birthday. So they gave me The Library of the Unwritten. They also gave me Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. I read Sarah Gailey's two of her other books, Upright Women Wanted and When We Were Magic. and loved both of them. But this one just looks really funny and good. The back says, Ivy Gamble was born without magic and never wanted it. Ivy Gamble has an almost sustainable career as a private investigator, an empty apartment, and a slight drinking problem. Ivy Gamble doesn't in any way wish she was like Tabitha, her estranged, magically gifted twin sister. Ivy Gamble is a liar. So it seems like it's about this woman/girl. I'm not exactly sure how old she is, but she is not magic and wants to be magic, and I don't know. It sounds really cool. This is actually one of my most anticipated books. Hopefully I'll be reading that very soon. And then the third book that I got from that same aunt and uncle was And Then They Were None by Agatha Christie. I want to know nothing about this book. I want to go in knowing nothing. This is a very popular Agatha Christie, and even in her note, my aunt was like, just remember, don't tell anyone the ending of this book. So I want to know nothing. So you get to know nothing from me. Let's see. Maybe I'll just go back and forth like this. Another mystery that I got recently, which I had not seen anywhere, but just looked really cool when I was in the bookstore, is Designed for Dying by Renee Patrick. This is a story about, in Los Angeles, set in Los Angeles, 1937, Lillian Frost has traded dreams of stardom for security as a department store salesgirl. But even that stable job is endangered when she becomes a suspect in the murder of a former roommate, Ruby Carroll. Party girl Ruby died wearing a gown she stole from the wardrobe equipment of Paramount Pictures, domain of Edith Head. Edith has yet to win the first of her 8 Academy Awards. Right now, she's barely hanging on to her job, and a scandal is the last thing she needs. To clear Lillian's name and save Edith's career, the two women join forces. Unraveling the mystery pits them against a Hungarian princess on the lam, a hotshot director on the make, and a private investigator who's not on the level. And they are going for them. All they have going for them are dogged determination, assist from the likes of Bob Hope and Barbara Stanwyck, and a killer sense of style. And in show business, that might just be enough. It sounds like just kind of a fun Hollywood mystery romp, and that's exactly what I want to read right now. Oh, okay, so let's see, what should I talk about next? I'm gonna go for The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. This is a book which is super cool. On the back, all it says is, I am the sister, the other Mozart, and her story is mine. I believe this is a part fantasy based in real history about Mozart's sister, Nana Mozart, and her desire to be a musician. She doesn't want to marry, and her brother just starts shining brighter. And Marie Lu spins a lush, lyrically told story of music, magic, and the unbreakable bond between the brother and sister. And it just looked pretty cool. So I thought I would really enjoy this. I'm also a musician, if you didn't know. So, of course, Adri knows. But those of you watching this may not know I'm a musician. And so the fact that this book it seems like, a pretty interesting modern feminist take about, that something that happened a lot in history of women wanting to be recognized for their artistic work and not getting to, being outshined by their brothers or husbands, anything like that. So I think it'll be really interesting read. Let's see. Next I'm going to talk about The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. This book is pretty highly debated. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people think it's not worth the hype. This was super, like I said, super hyped up a couple years ago when it came out. But it's about a woman who is agoraphobic, and then she witnesses a murder, and the narrator is pretty unreliable, and again, it's a mystery thriller, so I don't want to go in knowing too much about it, but my mom read it apparently almost all in one sitting, so I'm excited to see what that has in store for me. Let's do a couple more thrillers while we're here. I also got All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I found this one at the thrift store. Um, I just knew Megan Miranda was an author that a lot of people had talked about. People say her books are pretty hit and miss, and apparently, I didn't look at the Goodreads reviews in the store, but this is one of the misses for a lot of people. But having not read very many thrillers or mysteries at all, I think I might get more out of some of the books that people were like, "Oh, this is pretty generic," because I don't really have that baseline for what a generic looks like in this genre. So, yeah, I think this is just about a girl who moves back to her hometown, and there was a girl that went missing when she was younger, and then history starts to repeat itself, I'm pretty sure. So it says an astonishing debut thriller with a jaw-dropping twist. The story is told backward. And that sounds pretty cool. A lot of people were like, a lot of people didn't like that it was told backward, but I think that is going to be pretty interesting. So there's another thriller. We're getting close to the end. I only have 7 more books to talk about. Let's have another break to talk about what we're doing.
Okay, well, right now I just finished 3 quests for gathering parts, saving orc peons, and killing rock monsters. And I believe I remember correctly, he is going to send me back up to the guy on top of the hill. Yep, and then I can't remember perfectly, but I think I'm going to be sent to the next part of this particular zone after this quest, in which I will be tasked with enraging horde warriors and being one step closer to reaching the part of the quest line that reveals how much of a jerk the guy leading this army is.
Nice. All right. Well, you keep doing that. I have 7 more books to talk about. Check in again in a moment. I'm going to finish out the thrillers that I have on my TBR. Also because there's an obscene amount of food on this shelf.
What?
Well, I have one of those like rolling carts that I put my books that are to be read or TBR books on it. And for a while it wasn't that full, so I was also using it for like a nightstand. And I just took off all the books, and there's like the crumbs from like 20 different sandwiches or whatever just like on my cart. So
oh my god.
A good thing that I'm doing this, because this cart seriously needs to be clean. Because Alec used to use it as his side table, and so he's a messy boy. It's very irritating. But it's fine because I love him. But also he's very annoying. Okay. Another thriller mystery that I acquired was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. Let's see. This one, again, I didn't really read that much about, but I did recognize the cover. I'm fairly sure it's about a woman on a cruise ship, and things go a little awry. And that's all I care to know. Cruise ship, awry. Things are happening. Ruth Ware is a fairly prolific mystery writer, and I'm excited to read one of her books. Let's see. Next we have The Last Flight by Julie Clark. This was a book of the month from June, and I found it at the thrift store, which I was super excited to find. This one is about, it just says, well, all I'm going to read is 2 women, 2 flights, 1 last chance to disappear. It sounds super cool and interesting, and I am so excited to see what this one holds. Also, I've never watched a book haul where people said words like, you need to have like open a thesaurus with all the synonyms for excited, because Everyone in book halls are just like, oh, I got this book, here's what it's about, I'm so excited to read it. And I am absolutely falling victim to that. But oh well. Let's see. And then the final mystery that I acquired, I got this one at Half Price Books recently. This was not half price because it's brand new, but it was 20% off because it is a brand new book, and it's 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. And this one totally caught my attention. So it says, from the hugely talented author of Before She Knew Him comes a chilling tale of psychological suspense and an homage to thriller classics. The story of a bookseller who finds himself at the center of an FBI investigation because a very clever killer has started using his list of fiction's most ingenious murders. So someone is recreating fiction's most ingenious murders, and it's about a bookseller who's caught up in the middle. Like, what more did I need to know? I needed to know nothing else. This looks so good. So there we go. We're done with thrillers. We're done with literary fiction. We're pretty much done with fantasy. We only have 4 more books, and they're all young adults. So let's talk about this one first. This is Not So Pure and Simple by Lamar Giles. I don't know very much about this book, but it was on my list of highly acclaimed books by authors of color that I was picking off of, and I saw this one at my local bookstore and decided to pick it up. So I think it's a fairly run-of-the-mill, I don't want to say, but like a fairly I don't know what I'm trying to say, like like an everyday kind of young adult story about like crushes and family and you know, things happening. Young adult, they're in high school, they have crushes and things are happening, and it just looks the cover was super beautiful, and I really wanted to read a Lamar Giles, so hopefully I will enjoy this book, and I'll be able to talk more about what it's actually about once I've read it. Let's see. Next we have The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Junauda Petras. I've talked about this one quite a bit, but I got this one in my July Book of the Month box as well. So it's about, I believe, 2 sisters. No, that's a lot. It's about a girl in Trinidad and a girl in the USA, and they are coming together, falling in love. Told in 2 lush and lyrical voices, Junauda Petras' debut conjures a love that is stronger than hatred, prison, and death, and as vast as the blackness between the stars. So, this one, again, I picked up because I knew it was queer, I knew it was black, and I knew a lot of people really love this book, and I'm super excited to read it as well. Let's see, let's save the best for last. So we'll pick up, second to last is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This is about a story about a town that leave a baby as an offering to a witch in the woods every year, which just, like, first of all, seems quite questionable. Like, why? But the witch is actually good, and she feeds the babies and delivers them to welcoming families on the other side of the forest. One year, the witch accidentally feeds a baby moonlight, filling the ordinary child with extraordinary magic. And so the witch decides to raise the girl on her own, and, you know, things ensue. That's all the back really says. And again, this won the Newbery Award, and everyone has been reading and loving this recently, so I'm super excited to get into it. And then last, but certainly not least, is a book by one of my new favorite authors, The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. He wrote my favorite book of the year so far, which is The House in the Cerulean Sea. This book, I didn't know that much about because I just ordered it because it was written by T.J. Klune. So I'll read you what it's about. Nick Bell is not extraordinary, but being the most popular fanfiction writer in the Extraordinaries fandom isn't a bad start. When masked heroes with superpowers perform real feats of bravery amid the clouds and in the shadows of the city, Nick is satisfied writing fictional stories about their heroic and romantic exploits, which he fondly posts online instead of finishing his homework. That is, until a chance encounter with Shadowstar, Nova City's mightiest hero and Nick's biggest crush, changes everything. Nick is no longer satisfied writing about heroes. He wants to become one. So he sets out to make himself something more, something extraordinary. Full of valiant adventures, thrilling twists, queer romance, and laugh-out-loud humor, this is the beginning of a remarkable story about a fanboy with ADHD and the heroes he loves. In the beginning, there's actually a really cute dedication page I love. It says, "For the neurodiverse who think big and dream even bigger, you are a superhero and your powers are infinite. Never let anyone tell you otherwise." And as a neurodiverse person myself, I find that really cute. And always love to see stories with neurodiversity represented. So, unless I'm forgetting anyone, I think that's it. I think that I am done. Should I count?
I
think I'm gonna count. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get these all back on. I'll count how many we got. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, this is all quite a mess. Okay, so there's some more. There's some YA. Where's the rest of my YA? I try to keep everything by genre, but that doesn't always work. Let's see. There's another YA. There's The Kingdom of Back. There's Walput's Library of the Written and Magic for Liars. Go next to it. And we'll start putting on some. Ooh, I have Get a Life Boy Brown that has to go up here. And then I'll stick some of these super tall. The problem with these book carts is that the really tall hardcovers don't actually fit very well on the middle shelves of the book carts. So let's see, we'll put When Life Gives You Lululemon there. And then see, we'll do some more. Oh. Let's put Where the Crawdads Sing, and they're there. And then Girl, Woman, Other, and Queenie. And then let's stick our paperback mysteries, and then we'll do our hardcover mysteries. Oh god, it's quite the process getting the hardcovers onto the middle shelves. Okay, hardcover mysteries in, and then we'll stick the fantasies down on the bottom. Oh my god. I'm not gonna be this difficult. Oh my god. Okay. Fine. What are you doing, Adrian?
I am killing goats, or rams, more accurately.
Oh no.
And now I'm doing a quest I'm about to do a quest I really, really don't like. Because it involves spiders.
Oh no. Is this a good time to stop? Because then I have to put a trigger warning on this whole video.
Huh?
Beware of spiders.
I mean, I can just stand here and do /wave. Instead of killing spiders. I mean, it's not like I like spiders at all. I hate them.
Yes. Okay. Well. Cool. I think we're done. I think that's everything. I've talked about books for probably a million years.
54 minutes.
If anyone has made it this far, please let me know in the comment down below if you like this format of a book haul while playing a World of Warcraft. Do you have anything else to add, Adrian?
Just that this will be as long as it's okay with you going up on both our channels.
Sure.
Okay, so both of us will have the other channel down in the description, and you actually have to tell me what what your channel is because I don't know. But so check the other out if you want to, of course, for any viewers, see more gaming videos. A lot of them have Annie in them. The ones I have uploaded so far, though they're rather old. I'm going to be uploading. I'm going to be uploading more soon, and for my viewers, check out Annie's videos for, let's see, book reviews, book vlogs, and other book stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot of, I do a thing called book quests where usually me and Alec, my boyfriend, go out and search in different places to find fun and interesting books, and we should have a few of those uploaded soon. We have 2 filmed and we're waiting to edit those, so hopefully more of those will be going up soon. I also do vlogs where I talk about books that I'm currently reading and kind of show day-to-day life, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just all things books I do over on my channel. So that is it. I hope that you got something out of this and saw some new books. I hope that for those of you who have not seen any World of Warcraft, you have been intrigued, and you are. I think a lot of people find like MMORPGs pretty overwhelming, but there's really, especially World of Warcraft, there's very good tutorial stages for everything, and especially when you have an Adri. I'm always just like, wait, Adri, what am I doing? What order do I put my spells in? And what area do I go to next? And all that kind of stuff. But those kind of games are always really fun, and we're hoping to make a lot more videos together. So, yeah, I think with that's pretty much it. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and let us know if you want to see more videos like this. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.